We are going Hawaiian today in the sartorial kitchen. It is a party at my friend Ruth's, and I am kicking things off with an Asian salad with ramen croutons. Then it's my Hawaiian marinated grilled chicken. Following that up with a fun festive cocktail that's sure to get everybody livened up. And last but not least, my grilled pineapple upside-down cake. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with us?
Welcome back to the kitchen, everybody. Or should I say aloha? Yes, because today is a Hawaiian-inspired menu. I have had this idea for a while now, and then my friend Ruth told me that she was having another splash technical pool party, and I thought the perfect place for a little Hawaiian cuisine. Now, it's not going to be all me. It's a potluck. Everybody's bringing a dish, and of course I can't wait to see what ends up on the table. But, you know, I never go empty-handed. So I'm starting with my pineapple tatin. It's kind of like an upside-down cake, but we're zhuzhing it up. Developing lots of layers of flavors, because you know I'm all about layers. So I'm starting with some butter here, a whole stick. I'm just going to let that melt down. I want it to get nice and kind of browned a little bit. That's just going to add some nuttiness to the sort of caramel glaze that we're making here. And then I've also got my brown sugar out. I need a cup of brown sugar. So this is a very simple recipe. Stick of butter, cup of sugar. Easy to remember. I'm very careful with my brown sugar not to pack it too tightly, because you can skew the measurement. You see my little piece of bread there? That keeps my brown sugar nice and moist so it doesn't get hard and clumpy on me. Alright, while that butter cooks down, we are going to work on my pineapple. I've got a can of pineapple slices here. Perfectly acceptable to use canned. If you want to get a fresh one and cut it up and go to all that trouble, by all means. But I also wanted the juice from this pineapple. I've got a little container here. The juice, some of this juice is going to be going into the marinade for my chicken. And then I'm also going to need some juice for the dressing for my slaw. So we're just going to do that there. Make sure we get all that juice. Now the pineapple, it's moist, wet. So I got a paper towel here. I want to lay these out. I want to lay these out and kind of dry them off a little, because I'm going to be grilling the pineapple to add another layer of flavor. And if it's too wet, it's just going to stick to my pan and make a mess. So I just want to take a paper towel here and just really press down on that. And you can already see we're pulling a lot of moisture out of that pineapple. I want it to caramelize nicely on my grill pan and not burn. You can't smell it, but that butter just has a nice nuttiness to it. Now the first thing I'm going to do is throw in a splash of vanilla. And you're going to listen to that sizzle. About a half teaspoon. Oh yeah. And then we dump in our brown sugar. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and turn this guy on here. Just on a low heat, medium heat. I don't want it to get too hot. Okay, the glaze looks good. And then we're just going to start laying on our pineapple here. Alright, welcome back everybody. While I was waiting on the pineapple and this to cook down, I went ahead and prepped my skillet. I have some parchment paper in here. I also sprayed the sides with a little non-stick. And I think our caramel is done. Doesn't that look gorgeous? I'm just going to pour that out into our skillet here. I mean our cake pan, sorry. And that's just going to be a luscious topping for our cake. Oh yes, look at that. Nice beautiful little grill marks. You see, this is exactly why I dried them off first. Because for one, they would have stick to the pan and made a mess. They would have gotten way too dark. These look good. As you can see here, I'm just kind of fanning them out, one over top of the other, kind of press them in there. There's plenty to go around. Yes, they've got some beautiful color on them. And last but not least, what's a pineapple upside down without a cherry? I'm not a big fan of cherry, but I did save room for one. Alright, I think we are good to go. The base of our cake has been assembled. Now for the cake part of the cake. We're going to start out with our eggs. I always like to start with the eggs so I can watch for eggshells. We do not want eggshells in our cake. And these have been sitting out for just a smidge so they can come to room temperature. The thing with baking, you want all your ingredients to be the same temperature so they cook the same. That, I also need 3/4 cup of sugar. Beautiful. A splash of vanilla. Teaspoon to be exact. And a stick of butter. I know you're thinking more butter. This is a luscious cake, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to cream all this together. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now it's time for the dry ingredients. We will start with the flour. And just like the brown sugar, I want to make sure I have an exact measurement. Flour can get packed as well, and then you end up with more flour than what you actually need. So we're going to do a cup here. It's okay if it's heaping. You just take your little spoon or whatever you're using and level it off. And just throw that right in. And then I also need a 1/2 cup. I also need a 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, I'm sorry. That's going to help this baby lift. And a 1/2, beautiful. A pinch of salt, just to cut through the sweetness of it all. And, as I said, my secret ingredient, ginger. And we're going to do, ooh, not that much. About a half teaspoon of ginger. Pineapple. And then you just come in here and give it a little tappity tap tap. What that does is it ensures you get a nice light flour. You also get the lumps here out of all your dry ingredients, and it mixes all the dry ingredients for you. So all you have to do is take a little spatula and fold the dry into the wet. Now I just have one more ingredient here, and that is milk. Just a 1/2 cup will do. And that's just to really help everything come together. The milk is also going to make sure that we have a nice moist cake. And we're going to finish folding all of that in to make sure it's all folded in nicely. You can see those little specks of butter. That butter, when it melts in the oven, it creates little pockets of air, and that's where you get that lift with the baking powder. So I'm going to get a sheet pan here just to set my cake on. I like to be diligent. If this rises just a little too much and wants to make a mess, this will catch it. And then we're just going to dump our batter right on top. Oh, look at this. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful. And I just take my spatula and run it along until it makes its way all the way around. And I just want it nice. The parchment paper is going to help really do a lot of the work of keeping this from sticking. but I do still want to come all the way to the edge. I did spray the edges of the pan so this would come out clean. I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. It's going to cook for about 35 to 40 minutes. So I'll go ahead and set my timer for that. And while we wait, we will prep the rest of our meal. So stay tuned. Alright guys, we are back. I've got my bag here, I've got my chicken. We are ready to marinate our chicken. I'm going to be grilling the chicken at Ruth's, but I thought I could go ahead and get it marinating so those flavors have more time to develop. So I'm using a big container here. I can measure everything in this container, so I'm saving on dishes. And then I can mix it up, and then we'll just pour everything into our plastic bag from there. So I need a half cup of this pineapple juice. The rest is going to be going in our slaw dressing. So there's that. Then I've got some soy sauce here. I also need a half cup of that. See what I love about this? I'm going to just do all the measuring in this one container and it's going to be perfect. And this is a basic kind of Asian style glaze, Hawaiian style glaze marinade. It's going to give our chicken some nice flavor, but also give us some nice caramelization on the grill. We're going to get that nice kind of sear, those sear marks, and it's just nice and juicy and flavorful. I also have some rice vinegar here. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can use apple cider. I splurged and got some of this, and I just need 1/4 a cup of the vinegar. What the vinegar is going to do, it's going to add a nice sharp flavor, but it's also going to kind of tenderize our chicken a little bit on the inside, so it stays nice and juicy while at the same time getting that nice sear on the outside. And then some lime juice. Normally I do fresh. Limes didn't look so good at the store, so I picked up one of these babies. I've actually had it for a while, and I'm finishing it up. It's about 2 tablespoons. That's also going to help tenderize the chicken. It's also going to give it a nice little zing. And for our flavorings, I need some salt. Chicken is naturally bland, so you want to make sure you give it plenty of seasoning here. So I'm doing about a couple teaspoons of salt, about a teaspoon of pepper. This is going to be a little sweet, tangy glaze. And then I've also got some of my preserved garlic. You know me and my garlic. And I think this baby is just about done. Let's go ahead and I also have some ginger here. I need about a couple teaspoons of that as well. And this is just minced ginger. Just a smidge more, that'll be good. And also some olive oil. This is going to help everything coat to the chicken. And I just need a couple tablespoons of that. Alright, so we got our garlic, our ginger, a little oil here. And some more of my brown sugar. Just a half cup. Beautiful. Oh, guys, I cannot wait. Now I got my little stir here. And we just come in here and whisk this vigorously. Dissolve that sugar, get all those ingredients incorporated together. Now, I'm going to pour in, make sure you got a good bag with no holes in it. And we're just going to pour that marinade in. Oh, get every last bit of that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, stunning. Okay. Then we're going to come in here with some clean hand and pop our chicken open. I just got some tenders here. This also works good with breast. Sometimes I've done it with thighs and like a cast iron. You can do a little cornstarch mixture and get you a little more of a glaze out of it. It's great over rice. But for the grill, I thought this would be this would be appropriate. Okay, guys, there's our chicken. Just give our hands a quick rinse. Anytime you're working with raw meat, eggs, pork, chicken, anything like that, always good to sanitize to avoid cross-contamination. Seal this baby up. Try and get as much air out of it as I can. And then I come in here and just massage this chicken. Oh yeah, this is the fun part. When they tell you not to play with your food growing up, they're not talking about this. This is fun, 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 guys. I just want to make sure that marinade gets all over this chicken, all those flavors. And then I'm going to kind of roll this up a little bit so it's nice and tight. And then it's going to sit in my fridge. Rule of thumb, a couple hours, 2 to 4 hours, just to really give this time to set up. It's even better overnight. And we will work on our slaw next. All time. So I've got what's left of our pineapple juice. That's probably about 1/4 of a cup. I need a couple tablespoons of the soy sauce. Really just enough until you lose that color of the dressing. Sorry, the pineapple juice. And then I need a 1/2 cup of the vinegar. So this is basically a vinaigrette. And that is going to be, that's going to be the last of our vinegar there. It was worth it. A little salt. A little pepper. A pinch, just a pinch of our ginger. And some sugar. And I need about a 1/2 cup of the sugar. You'll kind of see where it gets to the consistency you want. Here, and give it a little mixeroo. Now this dressing is only half of the equation. I've also got my slaw mix here, some seeds for some crunch, and a pack of ramen noodles. Now you're thinking, ramen noodles? Yeah, ramen noodles. So, salads, good salads, normally have a nice crouton to them. Well, this one is going to have some ramen croutons. How about that? The package comes with it. I choose the chili one, so it's going to give us a little heat. But as you know, I'm a spice one, so I don't want things too hot. Now I'm going to take some of our flavor packet here, about 1/2 or so. That's going to go in there for some extra flavor. And I also need a few tablespoons of some oil here. That's just salad oil. That's going to really help emulsify everything and really help it cling to our cabbage and everything here. And then we will just come in and give this a mix. Stir that up. Let that sugar dissolve. It smells really good, everybody. So, so good. The sheet tray from my toaster oven. I'm going to line that with some paper here. And then I'm just going to take and break up these noodles, kind of just by hand. I don't want to completely pulverize them. I want like some pieces. And then I'm just going to top the salad with these. It's going to make a nice little kind of crunch topping. It's going to be so much fun. That's beautiful. Okay. Now, I also have some sunflower seeds here and some pumpkin seeds. It's a mix. And got a handful or two of that. Just going to add some more flavor. And then I'm going to drizzle this with some oil. That's going to help us get some color on this without it getting too dark. And we're going to sprinkle the rest of our flavor packet. Voila! And then we just come in here with some clean hands and just stir everything together. You want kind of bite-sized pieces on those ramen noodles. So if you get any big pieces still like this, you just kind of want to break them down. And just toss all of that together. And then we're going to throw this in the toaster oven on a medium setting for about 3 to 4 minutes, just to let it get a little toasty without getting burnt. And then we will go ahead and start dressing our slaw. Alright guys, while you were gone, my cake went off. And I think it is done. Oh, gorgeous, look at that. And as you can see, we got a little messy mess there from our caramel. So I'm glad I set that down, otherwise I would have fire in the oven. So what I'm going to do with this cake, it has to cool pretty much completely before you can unmold it. Otherwise you'll have a mess. That caramel will go everywhere. So I have a little rack here, baking rack. What that's going to allow is the cake to cool evenly, because there's going to get some air underneath it as well and cool. And this is the part I want to cool the most, the caramel. I want it to set nicely so it unmolds and it holds its shape. So go ahead and get our slaw going here. Oh yeah. This, I don't want to do it too far in advance, but you definitely want to make it a couple hours or more in advance. I want those veggies to still be nice and crunchy and crispy, but I do want them to kind of soften a little bit and really soak up that dressing we just made. Got my carrots here. I may not even need the other bag of slaw. We're expecting about 12 or so. And you never know who's a picky eater or not. So I think we'll be a little sparingly here. And I'm just going to come in first and just kind of toss this so the carrots and the cabbage are kind of separated. Give this dressing another little stir. Sometimes that sugar likes to settle and try and come back together. Beautiful. And then we're just going to pour this over top. Oh, yes. Let's check on our topping. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mmm. As you can see, it's got some nice color on it. That's going to be a topping for later. People can put it on if they like. I'm probably get a little baggy and bring that separate, and people can do how they want with it. Okay, that looks good. And I saved my tongs from earlier with the pineapple, and I'm just going to come in here and stir this up. Beautiful. Is this not beautiful or what? And then this can go in the fridge and chill. And I'll pack everything up later when we head to Ruth's. I'm also making a cocktail, so stay tuned for that. And we still have to grill our chicken. Alright everybody, this cake is nice and cool. You can tell because I can handle the bottom of the pan now without scorching my fingers. And it is ready to unmold. So I'm just going to take my plate here. I got a fun little festive plate I thought would be a nice backdrop for the cake. And basically you just want to be quick about this. Just turn it over. Trust the process. And and see the cake comes out nice and beautiful. You can see those grill marks. You've got the hard caramel on top. And then you pull this baby out. Helps with the cleanup too. You don't have as much of a mess to make. I'm just going to wrap this up. And it'll be ready to go to Ruth's, and I will see you there. Guys, we're here. It's party time, but you can't have a party without cocktails. This is my mermaid juice, pineapple juice, lemonade, and the good stuff. Coconut rum and Luke Cristal. And it's as simple as that.
Oh, is that liquid?
I'm gonna start with the juice first. So I could only find a canned pineapple. I would have loved to have it like this, but it's fine. You just take a little, put a little hole in it, and it goes right in. Beautiful, beautiful. And now for the liquor. Alright, and we'll pour these in. And you get this beautiful green color, like the green of the mermaid's tail. And then I just need a cup and some ice. And what I love about this huge cooler, you can fill as much as you want in it. And then you just pour it right out, and everybody can help themselves. And look at this gorgeous green color. Is that not refreshing or what? So good. Just the right amount of liquor. I like drinks where you can't really tell the booze is in it until about 3 or 4 drinks in. And this is exactly what you got right here. Alright, so I'm going to return to the party, but later we'll be grilling my chicken, getting out my desserts. Alright guys, grill time. I've got my chicken here. These are just little tenders. I like the tenders. You can get a nice char on the outside without worrying about them getting too cooked, without worrying about them getting cooked through. Whereas like a breast, you probably have to throw them in the oven to make sure that they're cooked through. And this is that marinade that I made earlier, and you can just smell. Oh, as soon as that hits the heat, very aromatic.
All right, guys, this chicken has been cooking for about 3 minutes. I'm turning it over, letting it develop some beautiful crust on the other side. I want it to be nice and juicy, and we will be ready to feast.
Guys, the chicken is finished. Time to feast. Welcome back, guys. I've been having so much fun. But now it's time to feast. I showed you all the goodies on the table. I told you everybody's going to be bringing their own thing. And everything looks so good. Just look at it. But I know you are interested in how the chicken turned out and the slaw turned out. So, let's give those a little taste, shall we? Here's the chicken. Oh yeah. It's nice and juicy. Tons of flavor from the marinade. It's nice and caramelized from the grill. So good. Okay. Now I want to come in here and get some of the slaw. I went ahead and added some more of my toasted goodies on top. You hear that crunch? That's that ramen topping. Lots of flavor. You get a little bit of that heat from the seasoning. Nice crisp. The carrots and the cabbage, nice and tender. Just melts in the mouth. So good. Well, guys, I'm going to return to the party. But I will be back to unveil my cake, so stay tuned. Alright, guys, dessert time. I showed you this earlier, but here it is again. And we've got some brownies and a pie and a special cheesecake here. That raspberry topping is the fruit of my labors. I picked this last night from my friend, and he made a gorgeous cheesecake out of it. I'm going to be trying that as well, but first, I'm going to get a little piece of my cake here. Oh, guys, look at this.
What whipped cream is in
So good, nice and moist. And then you have that beautiful caramelized topping. I'm just going to come in here and grab a little taste real quick. Oh my gosh. So flavorful, nice and soft, spongy. The brown butter, the grilled pineapple, just gives it something a little extra. So good. But guys, I'm gonna get back to the party. I appreciate you for joining me once again. And until next time, bon appetit.
Two, please.